Hey guys, it's me again. Yaron Batan here from the Heroes Manufactured live show. Thanks for joining us for another great episode here. Today we've got a special celebrity guest artist or guest celebrity artist, however you want to call it. His name is Kurt Lehner. A great guy that I met a few years back. I've been showcasing some of his work for the last little while here on our show, and it's this Stanley picture right here, right above my finger. So he's actually the guy behind that Stanley image. We're gonna introduce some of his work to you guys. For anyone who isn't familiar with Kurt, he's done some incredible work in the animation world with Nelvana Studios, with a number of well-known, well-recognized franchises. So we're gonna get right into the show today. I do have a couple of just quick announcements. This week we will be showcasing Heroes Manufactured live on Heroes Manufactured Creators Unleashed, which is our new series on Amazon Prime Video. So that should be coming out literally any day now. We're just waiting. I know I've been saying this for quite some time on other episodes, but literally just expect it any day. Check out Prime Video. You should be seeing that shortly. And we will be featuring our new store, Heroes Vault, next month. So we're going to be launching this in September. From what I'm told, with a couple of my partners here and collaborators. So we'll get right into it here, guys, with Kurt. Hey, Kurt, how's it going?
Good. How you guys doing? It's so cool that I'm on your show.
Thank you, and there you are, Kurt. And it's, how do I just again apology, but how do I pronounce your last name? It's Lehner. Lehner. Great. Thank you, Kurt. And thank you for being part of this show today. Here on Heroes Manufactured, we try to showcase artists, guest artists, celebrity artists that have been doing this for some time. And you're a recognizable name in the industry. I know when I first met you at Fan Expo, this was probably about 4, maybe 5 years ago, either Fan Expo or Toronto Comic Con. I don't even remember. It was a while back. But when I saw your work, I was like, wow, this guy's like you reminded me of George Perez, like I was the one thing that I thought was just amazing. And we'll kind of get into some of the questions that I first wanted to know a little bit about you. But how did you kind of break into this business? How did you get into this industry? What made you want to get into it in the first place?
Well, I guess it stems back from my childhood. When I was a little boy, I think I was sharing with you, I was pretty sick as a little kid. I had very severe asthma. Yeah. I had very bad food allergies I have celiac disease, and I can't have gluten and things like that. I have very severe egg allergy. Peanuts is no good for me, So I found winters growing up very, very hard here in Toronto, as if you remember, we get it pretty cold sometimes, right? Lots of snow. So when I was a little boy, it affected my chest, my lungs. So the doctors always said, well, keep them more inside during the winters. So during the winters, basically I saturated myself with watching TVs. And on TV, I remember what really captured me the most was the old 1960s Filmation superhero cartoons with Superman, the New Adventures of Superman, New Adventures of Batman, Aquaman, the Teen Titans, Superboy, the Flash, Green Lantern, the Justice League.
Kind of the campier days, I guess, right? Of comics.
yeah, right. And they were so cool. And I remember watching them. I'd rush home from school at like 3:30. They'd always show the little shorts all the time, right? And they do like a half hour of these shorts. And I fell in love with them. I thought this was the greatest thing. And then I was 8 years old, and I was at a convenience store, right? And there was a book rack for comic books, and I saw this Action Comics with Superman on the cover, and it's like, and I said to my dad, I said, that looks like the cartoon.
Oh yeah.
And I watch in the afternoon. Can I have that book? And he said, how much is it? I said, it's 20 cents. So he goes, yeah, you can have that, right? So that was my first comic book ever. It's a ridiculous comic book. It was
You're talking about the Max? Is it the Max Fleischer or is
no. This was in the 70s,
Oh
and
wow. Okay.
yeah, this was in the 70s. Oh, you're talking about the animation?
Yeah.
No,
The
it was from Filmation.
film. Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah, way back in the 60s, they came out with these episodes, right?
Wow.
And these were short. These were shorts as well. They were maybe a little longer than the Max Fleischer ones, but they were so good. You know, if the fans aren't familiar with it, Warner Brothers came out with a release on DVD of all of the episodes, and
They were
so
great.
good.
The animated
Yeah,
series too. All that was
yeah.
awesome.
And in the Aquaman cartoon, he's wearing black boots, where
Yeah.
he doesn't wear black boots, but he had black boots in the animation, right? So it was really cool. And then so this comic book reminded me of that animation. It had the same kind of colors. It had the same kind of feeling to it, but the cover was ridiculous. They
Wow.
did a lot of weird stuff sometimes in the 70s, right? And so the cover is um, it's the Daily Planet, right? And on the
Yeah.
Daily Planet, it's like on the side here is the Daily Planet, and then coming up from the window here is Superman on a ledge,
Oh
and
wow.
then coming down here is a an airplane pummeling to its death,
Oh my God.
and then from the corner, where is it? Where are we on the camera here? No, over here. There on this corner here is Perry White flying up into the sky,
Oh wow.
and the bubbles said, Superman says over here, "This is a job for," and then over here he says Perry White, and he's got the powers of Superman. It was a ridiculous comic book, but I liked it as an 8-year-old. I thought, "Whoa, how did he get those powers?" Right, and I didn't know what was going on. And
Well, that's the thing. As an 8-year-old, you're like, maybe I can get those powers, right? Maybe I can
right,
get like,
yeah, I always wanted to be Captain Marvel, which everybody knows now is Shazam, and I
yeah.
wanted to be Billy Batson, right? I love that character a lot.
Oh,
So
for sure, for sure. And so I'll kind of get right into some of your work here. I mean, this is kind of your brand. I just want to show people if you ever see Kurt at a trade show, at a convention, any other comic related pop culture show, we can find you at your booth. You'll probably have a picture up, and that's your logo there as well, right?
that's my promo photo.
Nice, nice. That's your promo photo, and that's just some of the great work that you do. Like I said, a lot of George Perez feel in terms of the way, at least the way you lay out your characters. I really admire that, and I'll take us into another image right here that has a little bit of that as well. Tell us a little bit about this one, this Avengers piece.
Sure, yeah. This was done in 2012, and I got the opportunity to showcase this in Chicago, Illinois, originally with Stan Lee himself. And this is a very special piece. And I know you were mentioning before we went live about some of the stories I have with Stan Lee, and this is a particular one that I'd love to share with you.
Yeah,
So that Avengers piece was when the movie came out,
here I'll
and
show it again. Yeah,
so I went to Stan's booth, and we what we wanted to do with Wizard World was to help launch the movie through that kind of an art piece, right?
yeah,
And so Stan had not seen the finished piece, and I went over to him, and he was at his booth, and I said hello and everything. He knew me already. Um,
yeah.
and I said, so I finished that Avengers piece, Stan. And he goes, great. Let me take a look, right? So I put it on his table where he was sitting, and so he puts his hand on his face like this, and he's staring down at it.
It's such a Stan move too.
Yeah,
I know
right.
exactly what you're talking about.
It's quite nervous. It made me nervous because I didn't know what he was thinking, right?
Yeah,
And all I said to him was, I hope you like it.
yeah.
And he's staring at it, and there was a moment of silence.
Wow,
And
wow.
I'm thinking, oh, shoot, like what's he gonna do? He's gonna rip this thing apart. He's gonna say, well, it's okay, but I would have maybe moved some of these characters around. I would have put this here. I would have made this more impact, all these things. So finally, he's finished staring at it, and he looks up, and it was nothing like what I expected. He says, "What's not to like?" He said,
Wow.
"Kurt, your work is outstanding." He
That's
said,
amazing.
I'm going to put this on my tombstone when I pass away someday. And I'm going to quote Stan Lee because it means it's the greatest thing that somebody has ever said to me ever. And of course, from Stan Lee, that's like, like Elvis Presley saying to somebody in the music business, "You're amazing." You
Yeah,
know,
no, that's
something like
incredible.
this, right? So he said to me specifically, he said, "What's not to like? Your work is outstanding. If you could have drawn like this in the 1970s, and you would have walked into my office in New York City, I would have hired you on the spot,
Of
and you
course, of
probably
course.
could have been one of the greatest of all the comic book illustrators." That's just quoting him. I don't think I would ever be the greatest. That's just what he said to
That's
me.
oh, listen, it's flattering, it's nice, it's amazing. I mean, it's a great feeling.
It's massively humbling because it's like comes from Stan Lee himself,
Yeah, it's
and
Stan
it's
Lee.
like God bless the guy, like holy cow, what a compliment. And I never look at my stuff and say, wow, I'm the best. I just love it when fans like what I do,
No, of
and
course, and
they're liking what I do, and you
li-
like it, so it's
listen, and
great.
what's not to like? Literally, like
Thank you.
it's awesome. And then this brings me to this next visual right here of Deadpool and Black Panther. I mean, these are amazing Marvel characters, Marvel, representations. I mean,
Thank
this is
you.
just amazing. You've done work with Wizard World, and I mean, having your stuff showcased at a lot of these events. I mean, I love the fact that they're you can own these in your house. You can have these signed by you, have the originals. These are absolutely incredible. And I'm going to skip over to one more image here of Batman and Superman. I love this Superman visual because you showcase the different Supermans of different eras, right? Like it's the old, the new, and the the kind of the one we all know of. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's just
Thank
amazing.
you. This is called the Superman Legacy, and what I was doing is I got invited to the Niagara Falls Comic Con years ago when this movie came out, and this was their exclusive, and I wanted to do a representation to help launch that film by taking the eras of Superman, the three different eras. So the one on the right, of course, his first appearance,
Yep.
and and then we've discovered many years down the road that he's from Earth 2. He's the Golden Age.
Yeah.
So the one in the middle is Earth 1's Superman, which is like, the traditional Superman as we know today. But when he's on Earth 1, of course, so much time has passed from the 1930s, and he's aged somewhat. So the one on the left is the same Superman, right and left, only
Yeah.
aged. He's the Earth 2 Superman, while Earth 1 Superman is young.
Wow. That's nice. And
And
then
I felt, Yaron, that the three of those that feeling of the three eras really, I felt Henry Cavill really showcased that in his Superman, of all the timelines of Superman. He had all of it, and I
of
really
course.
loved what he did with that.
Yeah, I think he was. If you ask me, I mean, I love Christopher Reeves for what he did, but I think Henry Cavill pulled it off the best, without a doubt. Till today,
Yeah,
I'm still in awe of what he's done with that film. And
absolutely.
some people are talking about him being a Wolverine, which I think would be pretty interesting as well, because he could probably pull that off. But I still think he's best for Superman. Now, this Batman image that you have here,
Yes.
that's like the classic, Dark Knight, also from the Golden Age era, correct?
Yes, this is the first appearance of Batman, 1939, and
Nice,
I drew it in a retro yet modern feel. I combined the two,
nice.
um, and which is like it's now my style, right? So I take the retro, the very original costumes of characters, and I'll put my spin on it with more stronger anatomy,
Yeah,
and then keeping that old school flavor. And it's been that one, both of those two pieces that you're showcasing right this second, those have been phenomenally successful with fans. It's
For
also, it
sure.
was showcased for a Wizard World when Batman Begins came out, and
Oh,
that was a
nice.
Toronto exclusive when Wizard World came to Canada. And it's it's a very rare one, especially in the US, because it's got the Toronto Wizard World logo on it. And
Nice.
it's a special piece. I really love that piece too, because it kind of, what I try to create, I think, if it's fair to say, like portals of time in
Yeah.
my lithographs, and through those portals of time I try to create a window where you could look back, and that's the moment you first see that character.
And actually, that brings me into this next image here, because I love to show this one off. It's the one that I have just above me in my wall. The original kind of Stan Lee image you have. I know. I remember when I got this from you at the time. You were telling me there's another version with an added character who's technically in both versions, but one where you can see her and one where you can't. And I'm
Right,
sure.
which, yeah, so we did a like, so the way this went down is and is an honor to do this with him, and it was so popular. um so when I so this was in 2013, and Stan Lee was going to turn 90. His birthday is one day after mine,
Oh, wow.
the actual day, not the year, but the day, right?
Nice,
Um,
nice.
so I had seen him at a convention, and I was talking with him, and he said, "Yeah, I love the work you do." He said, "I said thank you." I said, "I'd love to be able to do something more personal for you sometime." He goes, "I would love that." He says, "Why don't we do something for my 90th, and like a tribute piece? Are you able to
Nice.
do that?" And I said, "Yes, you know." And so I thought, wow, that, like, what do you say? I got to become a commissioned artist for Stan. Um,
That's
Amazing.
amazing.
So I put this piece together. I did the portrait, which is on my website under my portraits section, and
Yeah.
I do portraits of people. So I was honored to do this portrait of Stan, and then what I did is I did 72 colored characters um, around him. Now I thought, what an interesting concept, because I was going to go from city to city with him in the U.S. And I said, it was a really bad time in the economy in the United States at that time in 2013. And I thought, you know what? I said, Stan, um, when you are going to showcase and sign your autographs and everything, get photo ops, there are some pretty hardcore fans in the US, and they're going to want to maybe even put a mortgage on their home just so that they could afford your signature.
Yeah.
Facetiously, of course, I'm joking, but
Yeah.
you know, um, he said, you're right. I said, well, what if we did this piece that I'm creating, and we did an old school contest? And the contest would be, you have to name every character live in front of me. You can't hesitate. You can't make one mistake. I point at the characters. You tell me the name of that character. You make a mistake, it's over. But if you win, you get like a Willy Wonka golden ticket, which I created.
Nice.
And that gives you access immediately. I walk you over to Stanley's booth. You get to shake his hand, say hello. He signs that piece for free.
Wow.
It was like a $225 winnings or something like that, right?
Wow.
Because you get to meet him, maybe take a photo with him. I wasn't sure how they arranged it, but and so I was thinking, how could I do this contest? And then it came to me, like, it was so um, common sense
Yeah.
that it wasn't common sense. Like, it just made it was so easy to figure out, but it wasn't easy. And it just came to me so quickly that if I put all these characters together, but you can't see one of them, which is showcased as his first comic book in Marvel, when it was under the Marvel brand in
Yeah.
1961, he creates the Fantastic Four, right? And, well, one you can't see, it's the Invisible Woman. So there's an empty space beside her husband Reed Richards on that lithograph. And
Yeah.
So no one could figure this out.
And
I
I'm
think
gonna
one
show it
guy,
right here.
yeah, one guy won it in Chicago,
Oh
and
wow,
he
he
nailed
figured
it.
it out.
He did that contest like to the T, and he's in touch with me on Instagram to this day, you know. And I just saw him last year when I was in Chicago, and he came to the booth. I said, "Oh my gosh, it's been like years since I seen you." He goes, "I still to this day," he says, "that was the greatest moment I've ever had when I won that contest, and you took me over to meet Stan." He says it was amazing, and
Yeah.
he says you made that convention like unbelievable for me and my friends and everything. And I said, "Well, thank you. I mean, it was an honor to do that, right?" So the secret answer was Invisible Woman, right? And
Yeah,
then
no, it's
so then
great.
what we did was um, Stan actually came up with the idea. He says, "Well, why don't we create um, a version so that because it was a contest, there's legalities. I learned it from Stanley Collectibles, right? There's
Wow.
legalities, and so you have to create a piece. I think they call it like a legal copy, right? Where you showcase that secret answer. You could do one piece, you could do 10 pieces, you could do 100 pieces, as long as there's a piece. So I did a piece where the Invisible Woman is visible in a like a light blue drawing, like a
I
light blue.
remember, and it was an
Yeah,
exclusive from what I
it was
remember, right?
exclusive, and
Yeah.
so that was the piece, and that went
Yeah.
really well, and it was to help honor the entire legitimacy of that contest too, you know.
And
So
no, and it's a great concept. I mean, I think the ideas are amazing. I did want to also explain this Infinity War. I mean, that's just after the release of the movie, I assume,
yes,
or
so that was a Philadelphia exclusive with Wizard World, and I got to put that together to help launch that motion picture when that was released, and that's been a very popular piece. I also have
again,
I
very
did all
very
I
George Perez in that
thank you.
sense, right?
Thank you. I do appreciate that. I know I knew George. I met him years and years ago when I was a fan, and I was just breaking into the business. And then I saw him, um, just a bunch of years back, and it was the last time I saw him. I think he retired just after that.
Yeah,
But what I liked about George Perez was that he was always a very kind, gentle person to talk to.
yeah.
Anytime I talked with him, he was just so easy to deal with, and I like that in people. I try to be that way with fans too. I'm very approachable. I like when the fans come and they want to talk to me and stuff, and I try to give them as much time as I can within reason, But
Yeah.
um,
No, that's awesome.
it's a great feeling. It's just wonderful.
And so, like, you've going back to some of the work that you've done. I know you've worked on this famous franchise, Gargoyles.
Yeah,
And I mean, I have a couple of really cool images here. I mean, this is Goliath. We all know and love him. So you've worked on some Disney products. You've worked on many other major brands. You said Warner Brothers as well.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. If list them to us. I mean, there's another great one
So,
here.
well, so if I may, Yaron, so I was an animator in the beginning of my career. It's funny because I never wanted to be an animator, and you asked me how did I start off in my career. So maybe we can touch now on that little
Yeah,
story
of course,
because
of
it's
course.
kind of neat, right? So I was studying. I went to OCAD in
Yeah,
Toronto, right?
went
And
there as well.
did you? Awesome, awesome. Oh,
Great
that was
school.
you.
That was
Years
me,
later,
way
yeah.
way back, way in the back there,
I bumped into you in the hallway when I was visiting.
for sure.
No, we didn't do that. But
No,
so I was studying, communication and design. So they really pushed heavy on advertising. Be
nice.
a an illustrator, be a layout artist, a storyboard artist, things like that.
Nice.
So I I focused on that in 5 years out of school. That's what I was doing. I was doing advertising.
Oh, very
And I
nice.
did find that it was a little bit stale for my creativity. It was more just of a do job where I didn't have as much input, right? So then a big recession hit in the late 80s, early 90s, and so I was out of, there was no real artwork. I had been doing ads for Kmart, Sears, the Bay. Um, they asked me to put together an illustration for Canada Day at the Bay,
Nice.
and there were a bunch of submissions, and I was really happy to be part of that.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and they chose mine, and it went all across Canada.
Wow. Wow. No, that's amazing. I mean, and so how did that lead into animation?
Um, so then I got a call. So I wasn't working, and I had to work for a fitness club, right?
Mhm.
And so basically, what ended up happening was I got a call from a school chum from university, from OCAD, and he said, they're hiring at Nelvana Studios. So
Wow.
I said, wow, wow. Um, I said, I don't want to be an animator. You know, I don't want to be an animator. I don't want to draw the same thing over and over and over and over. And he said, no, no, you don't. You don't have to just be an animator. You can be a character designer. That you could be a storyboard artist, a background artist, layout artist, all sort of like you can do posing, where you set up the characters where they're going to be positioned on that scene. And I said, oh, I didn't know all that. So I went there, and he says, oh, there's a guy named Doug that we knew from our days of school, and he's working there right now. So I called him and I said, who do I talk to? And they said, do you talk to this guy Dave, this guy Ted, and they're supervisors and directors and stuff. And so I went in and I showed my portfolio, and they asked me, where'd you go to school? And I said, I went to OCAD. And he said, oh, you didn't go to Sheridan? I said, no, no. He said, then why do you want to work here? And I said, well, I feel I have a real strong knack for drawing cartoons. And they were
And
quiet,
wow, there.
stared at me. And I said, I thought, oh, okay. And then he looks at me, he goes like this. He goes, we all have a knack for drawing cartoons here. And
There
I
you
thought,
go.
oh crap, I just stuck my foot in my mouth.
There you go.
So
It happens to us
okay,
all, though.
so they said, okay, well, because you didn't study in animation, could we ask you to do a special test? And I said, yeah. They said you can take it home, and you work on it at home, but don't spend too many days on it. Just maybe 2-3 days, and then bring it back. I said, sure. So I did. I didn't understand some of the directions, like the instructions, but I
The
I guessed.
intricacies
I
of it.
took a guess. Really, I took a guess, and I did the best I could with it to understand what they were asking. And there were all sorts of things. I had to do this really long pan with all the stuff like furniture inside where the characters are going to sit. I had to design a character. I had to do a layout, where a spider was coming down this window and stuff, and all sorts of different things. I had to do perspective. I had to do all this stuff, and I did the best I could. I took my time, and I thought this would be so cool if I could be doing something for television. And I thought,
Yeah.
okay, that would be so cool. So I took it back, and they looked at the test, and they said, okay, we'll get in touch with you. And I said, okay, thanks. So this was like on a Wednesday. I took it back, and I was working at this fitness club, um, and Thursday no one called me from Nelvana, and I thought, okay, well, it's Friday, Friday comes, there's no phone call. So I thought, okay, well, the weekend, maybe Monday. Monday comes around, no phone call.
No call. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's it. I had my chance, right? And they probably didn't like what I did because I maybe didn't understand what I was doing. So
Yes.
it's 11 a.m. I'm at the fitness club in my office, and the receptionist says, "Oh, Kurt, you have a call on line 2." So I picked it up and I said, "Hello, Kurt speaking." And he says, "Oh, hi, this is Dave from Nelvana. How you doing?" I said, "Oh, good, good." He goes, "Yeah, so thanks for bringing that test in. We had a look at it and stuff." And I thought for sure they were going to say to me, "Thanks for bringing in the test, and unfortunately, because you didn't study animation, there's a lot of things that you don't get. So, maybe if you learn all that, you can reapply or something. But that's not what he said. He said, so we really liked your test. When can you start? And
Oh.
I'm like, holy schmack.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right? Holy schmack.
That's impressive, man. That's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah. And I didn't, I was like shivering. And I said, well,
wow.
I can start Monday. He goes, well, don't you have to give your job like 2 weeks notice? And I said, yeah, but I'm going to start Monday.
We're gonna start.
Because this is like, wow, I'm going to be
An
working
animator.
on
Yeah,
Hollywood projects and stuff, TV
that's
shows. Oh my gosh, like,
that's amazing. That's a
yeah.
great
And the
story.
first
I
and the
mean, I
first the
love that.
first thing I ever touched was for Steven Spielberg's Fievel's American Tales.
Oh, I love that movie. I mean, I love that one.
Yeah,
I love the second one, the Five O Goes
yeah. But
West.
this was the TV series
Oh wow,
where
yeah, I
he's in the
remember that.
West.
Yeah, yeah,
Fievel's
no, I remember that.
American Tales. Yeah.
Yeah, the show was
And
great. The
so that
show
was the
was based
first
off of
show I ever worked
Five
on,
O Goes
and
West. Yeah, and so
it was, yeah, it was then they took it and went
yeah, no, it
further
was
with
a
it,
great
right?
show.
So,
I remember
and
that clearly.
thank you. Yeah, yeah, it was fun. I really
No,
enjoyed
for
that,
sure. And so yeah, I mean, as we showed, you worked on Gargoyles as well with Disney, and this is
Yeah.
one image I remember seeing this at I think again Fan Expo or Toronto Comic Con, but this is a character that you also developed some ideas that some weren't necessarily made, but some were. But this hero, son of He-Man, that was a great concept. Was this ever done, completed? Was there a pilot made for it or anything?
So what it is, Lou Scheimer, who created Filmation and created He-Man, went bankrupt in the late '80s, and
Okay.
that's when that's why we don't see Filmation cartoons anymore. So it took him some time to, recoup from this and rebuild. At the time in the '90s, early '90s, he approached Deke Entertainment, and he wanted to do a spin-off called Hero Son of He-Man, slightly in the future, where He-Man gives the mantle, the sword, to his son, who's now becoming like a late teen, young adult, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so I was the very first concept artist to touch this project for these designs for Deke, at Deke Entertainment at the time. And so I wanted to keep a bit of that Filmation feel to it, and yet make it a little bit new as well, right? So I was able to work on, and privileged to work on the three major characters, which was King Adam, Hero, and Hero's companion, Battlebird.
Yeah, we could kind of see him there right under the Deke Entertainment
Yeah.
logo there. That's awesome.
So then what ended up happening was, unfortunately, Deke Entertainment didn't follow through properly, I think, with putting it into a TV series. So it didn't happen. So, but then from what I understand is Warner Brothers then bought up Filmation, and then all that artwork went to them. So I believe what ended up happening is then Mattel, through Matty Collector, decided to make a series of action figures, which I believe is some of the hardest to find and most valuable of the He-Man line, the Hero Son of He-Man action figures, right? Through Matty
Yeah,
Collector. And they were very limited. So I think that they used my drawings as a strong influence. They don't look exactly like the action figures, but you can see that there's an influence.
for sure.
So it's canon. The whole thing is canon, because when Mattel creates action figures based on that series, but there's no series, the series is still legit and is part of He-Man's universe, so
And I see you also did some work here on like Boba Fett for Star
yeah,
Wars.
this was because I worked at Nelvana. I decided, I spoke. This was a Cleveland Comic Con exclusive, and I, it's the holiday special Boba Fett, Meet Boba Fett,
Nice.
and I always took a liking to that little animated short that was done in Toronto, Canada, and so by me being part of Nelvana, years ago and all that, I did a tribute piece for that that's been popular. So
Nice. And Star Trek as well. I mean, I see there's this is the classic animated series.
but it's a variant for Mirror Mirror, which never existed in the animated series.
Oh wow. Wow.
So I added the new costumes with the little increments on there. I redesigned the Gorn to make it look more like what he should look like from Filmation. I added the girlfriend of Captain Kirk at the very on the left-hand corner.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
designed the Klingon based on some episodes of the Mirror Mirror universe, what Klingons' uniforms look like a bit, but keeping that old flavor and doing it as an animated
Yeah.
tribute. And then show the next one.
Yeah, the next one, which is this is recently done, right?
This is the new one that I just did for this year before COVID gave us no opportunity to do conventions.
Yeah.
And this was also showcased in Cleveland, Ohio. And I sold a lot of these lithographs. These were great, and fans were eating it up because they never did Star Trek: The Next Generation Filmation
Yeah.
designs. There's a new series now.
Yeah, I saw it's
like
like
Simpsons, like, right?
lower decks. Lower decks. Yeah, the Star
Lower
Trek
decks.
yeah.
And but it has nothing to do with what I did, and I wanted to create that whole Filmation look, because that I know that when just before Gene Roddenberry passed away, he made sure that he announced that the animated series is canon to the original series, and it's considered season 4.
Oh wow. Wow.
Because
So
it continued with a lot of the same kinds of episode concepts with the tribbles and different things like that, right? So
yeah, and I mean, you did a great job here with regards to, like, having Q in there, the Borg. I
thank
mean,
you.
you did a great job. It's
Thank
obvious
you.
to us that it's amazing, and
And
I mean,
that would look good in anybody's man cave. There you go.
oh, for sure, for sure, and some of these too. Like, I mean, you've done some great work with DC as well, with Wonder Woman here. You've also some with Captain America for Marvel. I mean, these are some powerful characters, some powerful images that we have here. I want to show this next one as well of Joker and Green Lantern. These are amazing. That smile on Joker's face. I mean, I love seeing a good close up. And
So if I may, Yaron, that
yeah,
piece is special because when I wanted to help do a launch when The Dark Knight came out, right?
yeah,
And so when I had put that piece together, I thought, you know what? There are only 3 actors ever at that point that played the Joker in a movie. So I mashed the 3 actors into the one piece. So
oh
the
wow,
eyes and the grin is Jack Nicholson.
I could
The
see that.
the ambiance and like the hair, the shirt and everything. You
Heath
can
Ledger.
see the eye, like the dark in the eyes. That's predominantly Heath Ledger. And then the nose, the shape of the chin, and you'd have to actually buy the piece so you can see it. But underneath his nose and just above his lip is a little hint of a shadow where it could be a mustache for Cesar Romero.
Yeah, I could kind of see that right there.
And I tried to create like an ultimate Joker, and everybody that sees that, Paige from WWE Wrestling, I was in Richmond, Virginia, at a convention, and she was there, and she came by my booth, and she said, "Oh my gosh, that Joker is awesome." She's like, "I love it." So,
It's great. It's great. I mean, it's
thank
great. And
you,
even the Green Lantern there.
thank
I
you,
mean, I love how you do DC and Marvel characters amazingly. That's definitely some great work. And then
thank
even
you,
here, I mean, you got the Flash, you've got Spider Man. These are just awesome, absolutely incredible work. And they're all
thank you.
original. They're all originals that you've created. Do you sell the originals as well?
I can. It has to be a serious buyer, because
Yeah,
they would be spending a bit of money on them,
of course,
being a celebrity artist, working on movies, TV shows, things like that, creates a higher value when I create pieces too, right? So
of course, of course.
once you're under a mantle of Disney, Warner Brothers, DreamWorks, Marvel, animation, things like that, um, it's kind of unique in a sense, you know.
Oh, for
And then,
sure, for
you know,
sure.
creating all this is something that I'm just enjoying every minute of it. So
No, I mean,
so
it's
yeah, you can buy the originals. You can commission me to do originals that would be
yeah.
just like this, you know.
No, that's great. And I mean, like even here, I mean, this Captain America, I love. It's got the Winter Soldier, it's got it all there. But it also like like your technique is unique because it feels almost like a painting. It has a cartoon feel to it, and it definitely has that filmation feel to it.
and comic book and everything in it, right? Like,
Yeah, a bit of everything. It's a
thank you.
nice
Yeah,
mix of the old, the new, kind of what you mentioned earlier. I mean, I absolutely think it's great what you're doing, especially the fact that they're kind of like con exclusives,
yeah.
is incredible.
Thank
And,
you.
and even this X-Men one, here's another great one that you put together.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I noticed some of these are from like the Stan Lee image. So I mean, you're kind of using some of the ones that you've created from the Marvel
Yeah,
because they are the same
hey,
character.
and that's where I learned it from Filmation. Filmation said, "Hey, reuse. Why not? You know, like
Yeah,
why draw it again if
it's
you can?"
nice. Why Drago? No, because it's a nice arrangement and it's a very
Yeah.
different arrangement.
Well, and what it
Um,
is too, Yaron, is when I do these bigger pieces like the X-Men and the Captain America Winter Soldier, and this is Days of Future Past, this piece here, right? I'm taking those images from the Stan Lee that I originally drawn, but I'm creating more depth in the coloring, which
oh
I'm
yeah.
I'm I'm going more 3D coloring where the others were flat colors, right?
Plus they're a lot bigger too, right? So you see a lot more.
Yeah.
You
So
get
it's the same drawing, but I've enhanced the depth of color,
and the details. Yeah,
the
no,
details
definitely,
exactly in the coloring.
definitely.
Yeah.
No,
So
without a
it
doubt.
looks more 3D, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I love this Doctor Strange that you have.
Thank
This is a
you.
great, a great one here that you have, with the two villains on the side. I mean, that's just awesome. Feels it feels like Doctor Strange, but also to me, it feels like like almost from like a Doctor Who in the '80s. It's got a very '80s yet modern day kind of like feel, right? So I mean, it's
Yes.
awesome what you're doing there. Like
Thank you.
great stuff. Love it absolutely. And so, I mean, in terms of like some of the franchises that you've worked with over the years, what were some of the favorites that you've done that you can say to yourself, "These are some of the best projects I worked on. These are some of the biggest highlights of work I've done." You could name a few.
So number one, I was an animator on the franchise for Beauty and the Beast.
Oh wow, wow,
And so I did some animation art for that, and
nice.
that was incredible. You can see those pieces on my website and stuff, right? There's a whole showcasing of that. Then being part of Gargoyles is iconic as well.
And you
So
mentioned you got to design the human form of Goliath, right? Like
yeah, I did a version of Goliath as a human, and
nice.
I tried to keep that same face and everything. And everybody says that yeah, it looks just like Goliath and just as a
Yes.
human and things like that. And then I had to create a lot of these monster-esque gargoyles and things like that that I drew from scratch and stuff. And then, of course, when you're working on TV shows, you have to reuse those characters all the time, the main characters, this and that, and then redraw them constantly
Redraw
in different situations. They might have something added on to them. They might be in different clothing. So you have to redraw them all the time. So I drew every single character that was ever designed in Gargoyles, and you know, so it's part of my staple now. You know,
No,
I'm a
of course.
Gargoyles character designer and all that stuff. Then getting to work on the movie Space Jam
Oh
as
wow,
an animation
nice.
artist as well, and that was amazing opportunity. Then I did some work with MGM Studios and Charlie Sheen on All Dogs Go to Heaven. You
Oh
know, with
wow, nice.
Space Jam, I got to work in association with Michael Jordan and Bill Murray. Um,
Wow.
Charlie Sheen with All Dogs Go to Heaven, and then of course then I got to work on the Marvel Action Hour in the '90s, which was the
Yeah,
Fantastic Four Iron Man show, right?
yeah.
And And then when I was in Toronto working at Nelvana Studios, I got the opportunity to design Franklin the turtle.
Nice, yeah, and that's a another pop culture hit there back in the '90s. I
Yeah,
mean, you've been doing it all. I mean, this is kind of living the dream in the comic book, pop culture, cartoon world for a lot of us artists,
I'm
trying
trying.
to break
I'm
in.
trying. You know,
Yeah, no, it's
I,
awesome. It's
I
awesome.
still want to do a
Any
lot.
advice? Any
I
advice
still
that you could recommend for guys trying to break into the industry right now, trying to really
Sure,
get
sure. I
out
mean,
there?
I want to still do a lot more. Like, I guess the other piece that was the highlight of my career was that Stan Lee commission. To be a
Yeah.
commission artist for Stan Lee is just unbelievable, right? Um,
You,
and
you said you have another piece of another
yeah,
version that's coming
there's a
out
piece
now.
that I created for in the event that he passed away, and I had put that together, and you can see that on my website too.
Very
Um, and it's a memoriam piece, um, and we miss him as you.
Yeah, yeah. We got to shoot a nice segment with him, a couple of segments with him in our film, Heroes
Mhm.
Manufactured. And the fact that we got to feature him just before his last appearance here in Canada,
Yeah,
we got to showcase him. Getting kind of praised for the work that he's done and his contributions over the years through our film. So it was nice
yeah.
to kind of see him just before he went. He left us, and he was a great guy. And that's why I still keep this image up here because
Thank you.
I think.
Thanks for
Oh, and
honoring me that you like that so much.
yeah, yeah, you'll be here for a long time, so no worries, Kurt. And
Well, you'll
I
have to
appreciate
invite me to your place and we can take photos
for
with it.
sure.
How about that?
There you go, for sure, for sure.
Okay.
And I mean,
To give
you
advice
also,
to young people, excuse me,
yeah,
I always suggest when you're starting off, there's a big movement in anime, of course, and I have nothing against anime. I love anime art, and
yeah,
but it's a cultural type of drawing. And when
yeah,
I do a lot of teaching, as you know, as well, right, in high
yeah.
schools
You
and
have your own
public
school.
schools and different things, right? And it's amazing because I'm now international, where I've been teaching now in all of North America. So pretty amazing, yeah. Even in the U.S., it's been great, And so the point is that a lot of these young people, teenagers especially, they love anime and they want to draw everything anime. But my
Yeah,
suggestion is always just learn your anatomy, your
yeah,
all the all of that process, just to draw it realistic, learn how to really draw, and then also look at other very popular things like characters from Walt Disney, Marvel, DC Comics, Warner Brothers. The list goes on,
no,
right?
for sure, for sure.
The
It's
Flintstones.
definitely.
Let's go to the Flintstones, things like that, right? And go back in history, and learn from all the stuff that already has been, so that you can become the artist you want to be.
No, of course, there's so much to learn from, and I mean, you definitely hit those points here. I mean, you've also like just to give people a little bit of a highlight of what you've done. You've also worked with on Jim Lee's Wildcats. You've done a lot of different things over
Yeah,
the years, and I mean, I'm sure to get to things like that, you had to learn kind of the old-fashioned way, not just pick up any book and do it, but pick up many books and do it that way, and watch others, learn
absolutely.
from others. It's
Well,
an
and when
experience
we
like
worked on
no other.
that, yeah, and when we worked on that animated series, I had to draw just like Jim Lee would draw. I
Yeah,
had to mimic him. So being in animation, it was an amazing opportunity for me as a professional artist, for immense amounts of skill to be able to draw absolutely anything of any style, and make it look exactly what it should look like.
yeah.
That's what
It's
we're mandated to do as working in animation. You
it's
know,
funny because Neil Adams, who I've met many times, interviewed many
yeah,
times, always
Neil, he's a
always
great man, and I grew up idolizing the guy. Like,
yeah,
and
and he always
now like a friend. You know,
yeah that's the thing. I know his family as well. I've met him several times. Great individual, and he always mentions, listen, if you want to learn how to get good at this, you got to draw from people. You got to actually, if you got to trace people, learn that way, just to understand the anatomy, right? So that you're mentally trying to figure out where things belong, until you get it on your own, right? Until you start to do it on your own and start figuring out, oh yeah, that's actually where the torso belongs, and that's where the thumb belongs, or whatever it is that you're looking at. And I mean, to me, that's always been of interest, and to understand the anatomy. He mentioned some things that I was quite surprised. I was like, there's a lot of inkers. I've met many inkers for years. They said, oh, they're not artists, they're tracers. It's like, no, they're not tracers. They're learning. They've learned the anatomy, they've understood it, but they're following a certain style or a certain a rhythm of how lines are drawn, right? Not everyone understands that, and I applaud artists
Yeah,
like
all my
yourself.
stuff. Yeah.
Neil Adams, these guys who are constantly putting it out there, saying, "Listen, learn from original." And I've heard people say, if you're gonna learn to trace from something, just to understand the anatomy, I don't say go out there and start tracing drawings, because that's not your drawing. But they say to always do it off of photography or learn from photos, because photos or real people, when you see the real thing in front of you, it's not the same. So. Sorry, guys, we did lose Kurt here right now. And yeah, guys, this is also, if you want to know more about Kurt, you could definitely check him out at Comic Cons and any other shows. And yeah. Oh, and actually, yeah, here Kurt's back with us. So hey, Kurt, how's it going?
Good.
Lost you there for a second. So
Yeah, I had to plug the phone back in.
no, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So listen, thanks again for being on the show. We got to touch on a lot of kind of what you do as an artist, as an animator, as a celebrity guest artist for a lot of these shows and franchises. So yeah, I really appreciate everything that you're doing, and for all the knowledge.
I want to thank you too, Yarn, for reaching out to me and putting this together. This is actually really cool, because we're doing so much virtual stuff now. So this makes things really nice,
Yeah, it's a way for everyone to get to know and to understand more about art, right? Like art that we all love. And I'm going to show this again to everyone, guys. If you do want to check out Kurt's work, you can go onto his website there and his Instagram. Some great stuff to check out.
Yeah, I ask everybody to follow me on Instagram, Lehner Art 777.
Yeah, I mentioned that as you were off, so we're good there. But for sure, that's awesome, guys. Check out his Instagram. Check out the website. Check out everything. When you go to your next show, definitely come by his booth and visit Kurt and just grab some awesome lithographs. Right, like they're amazing.
Well, and if anybody wants to collect some of the work I'm doing, and they can direct message me on Instagram, or they can they can email me, which my email's on my website. So Instagram is linked to the website. So at the top of the Instagram account is my website. Then they can go to my website, and at the bottom of every page is my email. So you can email me, and we can always do some sort of a mail order or something. Like we can do something nice. Well, I'll make sure you guys can get some collectibles and so on. And I'll autograph them for the fans, especially if they've seen this video. Just say, hey, I saw you on,
Heroes Manufactured.
And I'll throw in a free autograph and everything.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for everything today. Thank you for sharing your stories, and these are amazing. Definitely great work here. And guys, check us out also on heroesmanufactured.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook group. But thank you once again, Kurt, for coming out.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to doing some more stuff with you as well. I know we were talking about it, so.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, you take care now, eh?
Okay, you too. Thanks, everybody, and stay safe, and can't wait to meet you guys soon.
Thanks.